Hey everyone. Um, Listen, I wasn't even planning to record this today, but the energy I'm picking up on is so strong, I literally can't ignore it. There's someone in your current reality who's carrying feelings for you they've never fully expressed. Not just casual interest, not just fleeting attraction, real feelings. The kind that have weight, the kind that have been building quietly while you had no idea. Welcome back. It's Anna. And what I'm tuning into right now is this quality of suppressed emotion that's reaching a breaking point, a love confession from someone who was always holding back. And when it finally surfaces, when you finally hear what they've been carrying, it's going to shift something fundamental in how you see them and how you see yourself. This is going to make you so happy, not in a superficial way, in that deep soul level way where you finally feel chosen by someone you didn't even know was choosing you. Let me break down what's got me feeling this so intensely. You may have someone in your life right now who's been acting in ways that don't quite add up. They're present but careful. They're attentive but restrained. They show up for you but never quite cross the line into admitting why. Some people experience this as mixed signals. They can feel something from this person, but they can't pin it down. There's warmth, but also distance. There's interest, but also hesitation. And they've been trying to figure out what it means instead of trusting what they're sensing. It might feel like you're interacting with this person and there are these moments it's less than #0. 5 is greater than these looks. These pauses where something almost gets said but doesn't, where the air gets thick with unspoken things, where you catch them watching you in a way that makes your stomach flip. Let me just stop here for a second, because what I'm picking up on is really specific. This reflection invites you to consider, what if that person you've been wondering about actually has been holding back feelings? What if every time you questioned whether they felt something, you were, right? You may be thinking of someone specific right now as you're reading this, someone whose behavior towards you has always been slightly more than friendly, but never quite declared as anything else. Someone who's been in your orbit, being consistently present without ever stating their intention. It's possible this person has been holding back for reasons that made sense to them. Maybe timing felt wrong. Maybe circumstances were complicated. Maybe they were scared of rejection or of ruining what already exists. Maybe they convinced themselves you didn't feel the same way. But something is shifting in them right now. Some internal barrier is crumbling. Some fear is becoming less powerful than the need to finally say what's real. In some situations, people carry feelings in silence for so long that when they finally speak them, it comes out with an intensity that surprises everyone, including themselves. Hold up. I need to explain what holding back actually looks like in real behavior. There's probably someone in your current life who goes out of their way for you in ways that seem just slightly beyond normal friendship, who remembers details about your life that most people wouldn't track, who shows up when you need something without being asked, who makes themselves available to you in ways they don't for others. It's possible you've been interpreting this as them just being a good friend, a kind person, someone who's naturally caring. And maybe that's part of it, but what if there's more underneath? What if every act of service has been an unexpressed declaration? Some people show love through action long before they're ready to show it through words. They're demonstrating their feelings while their mouth stays quiet. They're proving their care while their fear keeps them from claiming it. You may have been receiving this person's love for months or even years without recognizing it as love. You've accepted their help appreciated their presence, valued their consistency, but you haven't seen the deeper truth of what's motivating it. This reflection invites you to consider who in your life shows up for you with a consistency that feels like more than friendship. It might feel obvious now that I'm pointing it out. You might be thinking back through interactions and suddenly seeing them differently. That time they did that thing, that moment they said that thing, that look they gave you that you dismissed as nothing. All of it starts to make sense when you consider they've been holding back feelings this whole time. Let me talk about what's happening internally for this person right now. It's possible they're currently at war with themselves. Part of them wants to tell you, part of them is terrified to tell you, part of them is building courage, part of them is manufacturing excuses to wait longer. Some people experience this internal battle as something visible. You can see them working something out. You can sense them on the edge of saying something important. You can feel them almost confessing and then pulling back at the last second. You may have witnessed this recently without knowing what you were witnessing. A conversation where they seemed like they wanted to say more but didn't. A moment where the energy shifted and you felt like something was about to happen, but then it passed. That wasn't nothing. That was them getting close to the edge and stepping back. This reflection invites you to consider, have you noticed someone seeming nervous or emotional around you lately in ways you couldn't quite explain? It might feel like this person has been acting differently recently, more present maybe, or more distant in that way people get when they're trying to manage big feelings, more intense in their attention, or more careful about maintaining boundaries. Either extreme, the extra closeness or the extra distance, could be signs of the same thing. They're dealing with feelings they haven't figured out how to express yet. There's something I keep sensing about timing and readiness. It's possible this person has been waiting for the right moment, the right circumstances, the right something. And they keep moving the goalpost on themselves. First it was after this event, then after that situation resolved, then once this other thing happened. But what I'm picking up on is that they're running out of reasons to wait. The excuses are wearing thin. The fear is becoming less compelling than the need to be honest. Some people hit a point where holding back becomes more painful than the risk of speaking up, where the weight of unexpressed feelings becomes unbearable, where they realize that not saying it is actually worse than saying it and being rejected. You may be about to experience someone reaching that point, or they may have already reached it and are building up to the actual moment of confession. This reflection invites you to consider, is anyone in your life currently acting like they're working up to something? It might come in a way you're not expecting, not a grand romantic gesture necessarily, maybe just an honest conversation, a vulnerable admission, a simple, I need to tell you something I've been holding back. And what they say might surprise you. Not because it's shocking, but because it names something you felt but never let yourself fully believe. Let me talk about what this confession might actually sound like. It's possible they're going to tell you they've had feelings for longer than you knew, that moments you remember as friendly, they remember as significant, that times you thought were casual, they were actually storing away as precious. Some people's confessions come with an apology. I'm sorry I didn't say this sooner. Or with an explanation. I was scared. Or with vulnerability. I don't know how you feel, but I can't keep pretending I don't feel this. You may hear words that make you rethink entire chapters of your relationship with this person, that make you see the past differently, that make you realize you weren't imagining the tension or the chemistry or the something more that always seemed to hover between you. This reflection invites you to consider, how would it change things if someone told you they've been in love with you this whole time? It might bring up complicated feelings, relief maybe, that you weren't reading too much into things, happiness that someone you care about cares about you too, but also maybe some frustration. Why didn't they say something sooner? Why did they make you question and wonder? But people hold back for real reasons. Fear is a real thing. Timing is a real concern. The risk of losing someone by admitting feelings is genuinely scary. There's something about your current state that suggests you're more open to this than you might have been before. It's possible you've been feeling a shift yourself, maybe noticing this person differently, maybe becoming aware of feelings on your end that you've been dismissing, maybe becoming curious about what could be there. Some people don't recognize their own feelings until someone else names theirs. They're too busy protecting themselves from hope to notice they're already hoping. You may discover that when this person confesses, you're not as surprised as you thought you'd be. You might realize you knew. Some part of you always knew. You were just waiting for them to say it first. This reflection invites you to consider, is less than #0, 5 hashes greater than? Is there someone you've been hoping would say something to you? It might feel scary to admit that yes, you want this person to confess their feelings, because what if they don't? What if you're making it up? What if you get your hopes up and they stay silent? But sitting with that hope doesn't make you naive. It makes you human. Let me talk about what happens after a confession like this. It's not an ending, it's a beginning. Not of perfection, but of honesty, of finally being able to build something on truth instead of subtext, of getting to explore what exists between you without the constant wondering. It's possible this confession opens up a conversation that's been needing to happen, not just about their feelings, but about yours, about what you both want, about what could be possible if you both stopped holding back. Some people experience this moment as a huge relief. Finally, someone is being direct. Finally, you get to stop guessing. Finally, you can respond honestly instead of carefully. You may find yourself in a conversation soon where you're both saying things you've been thinking for a long time but never voiced, where vulnerability is met with vulnerability, where honesty creates safety for more honesty. This reflection invites you to consider, what would you say if someone gave you permission to be completely honest about your feelings? There's something I keep coming back to about happiness. It's possible this confession is going to make you happy in ways you didn't expect. Not just because someone likes you, but because someone sees you, really sees you, and chose you, even while knowing you fully. Some people spend their lives wondering if anyone would choose them, if they really knew them. And a confession like this, from someone who has seen your mess and your beauty and your complexity, answers that question. You may realize this person has been choosing you all along, through their presence, through their consistency, through their care. They just hadn't said it out loud yet. And when they finally do, when they finally put words to what they've been showing through action, that's when it hits you how much you've already been loved without knowing it. This reflection invites you to consider who has been loving you quietly while you weren't looking. You remain in complete control here. When this confession comes, if it comes, you don't owe anyone a specific response. You're allowed to need time. You're allowed to be surprised. You're allowed to have whatever feelings come up, but also you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to let yourself want this. You're allowed to say yes if yes is what you feel. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice just thinking about this possibility is bringing up emotion, maybe excitement, maybe nervousness, maybe hope mixed with self-protection. Whatever you're feeling, honor it. Let yourself feel it without judgment. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, trust what you know. Before we close, I need to ask you something. Who in your current life do you hope has feelings for you? Who have you been wondering about? Drop it in the comments if you're brave enough to name it. And this, what would it mean to you if someone you care about confessed they've been holding back feelings? How would it change things if you knew someone was choosing you even when they were scared to say it? A love confession from someone who was always holding back. It's closer than you think. This is going to make you so happy. It already is. You just haven't heard the words yet. But you've been feeling it. You've been sensing it. You've been hoping for it, even while telling yourself not to hope. Not someday, right now, today, in the space between you and someone who's almost ready to be brave. Trust yourself with this. Trust what you're sensing from someone. Trust that when they're ready to speak, you'll be ready to hear it. Trust that you deserve to be chosen by someone who sees you fully. You don't need to make this happen. You just need to stay open to it when it does. I'll see you in the next one. And listen, some people love loudly from the start. Others love quietly for a long time before they find their voice. Both are real, both are valid, both are worth receiving. Stay open,